In my fight analysis, I usually go over build-up and emotion before going into phases, but because most of my audience already knows Naruto, I'll skip to phases and conclusion and go into more detail on each. I may bring up some points from the previous two sections if I feel like they're important. So in Naruto and Sasuke's final fight, the first phase is a little different in the anime versus the manga. In the manga, phase 1 is very quick. The two of them clash, Sasuke shoots a fireball, Naruto blocks, and Sasuke uses Chidori from behind. The fight quickly escalated to phase 2, but the anime does something much different. For starters, the scene of them jumping down and rushing at each other has callbacks to all the various different time periods of the two characters, which is epic. There is also an entire taijutsu scene before the events in the manga take place, and honestly, it is the best part of the fight. Not only is the choreography amazing, but the anime brings back the concept of using your opponent's hand to weave a sign. The fight starts with Sasuke having an advantage, a neat allusion to the part 1 fight, and eventually changes to the two fighting on par. Attention to detail like Sasuke constantly stopping Naruto from weaving his own sign is brilliant. The fight also uses attacks that were thought to be forgotten and creative sequences. Sasuke uses a kunai and wire along with universal pull and blaze control in an epic way. Naruto has partial transformation and uses double Rasengans in close quarters combat. After Naruto fully transforms and starts reaching with his arms, it goes back to the manga. This takes the fight into phase 2. It starts with Sasuke activating his Susanoo and firing arrows. This is by far one of the worst phases of the fight. I will eventually make a video discussing why I hate the kaiju avatars, but for now, just know that they are a terrible addition to the chakra power system. This phase has simple exchanges between their two avatars. The anime adds some references to the first fight, and has Sasuke using fireballs and Kirin and Susanoo, which is pretty cool. One cool canon moment though was the Rasengan Chidori clash in their avatars at the end of the phase. The next phase is a little longer, but still has the problems of phase 2. It starts with Sasuke absorbing the tailed beast chakra and Naruto making clones. One compliment I will give this battle phase is continuing the tradition of having both sides activate or unlock new forms mid-battle. Sasuke gets his tailed beast Susanoo, while Naruto gets his three-headed Kurama, which is a dope reference to the Buddhist Ashura, which is also the name of Naruto's ancestor. Sasuke clearly has the advantage during this phase. Naruto gets nature energy and ends the phase on equal footing with Indra's arrow. After another explosion, we arrive at the fourth phase, which is the best canon phase. The two are low on chakra and are forced to use taijutsu. Naruto is able to avoid Amaterasu with his cloak, which is a complete ass pull, but the following attack is great. Naruto uses his Uzumaki barrage and Sasuke interrupts the final attack, which is a clean reference to their rooftop battle. Sasuke brings back the shuriken tattoos from his Itachi fight as well. There's some more cool choreography with Naruto letting a clone take a hit, similar to his fight with Neji. Eventually, the fight has a collection of close-ups of each attack, which was a little disappointing because I would have loved to see more of Kishimoto's choreography. After this, Naruto has yet another reference to his Neji fight with an uppercut. The phase ends with Naruto doing his first one-man Rasengan and Sasuke mixing Amaterasu with Chidori. I want to take the second to acknowledge how epic this conclusion is. Throughout the story, all other Rasengan users have been able to use the jutsu with only one hand, while Naruto always needed a clone. But in this final battle, he's mastered this jutsu to use it with one hand, like the rest. Saving such a development for the end is epic. Sasuke mixing Blaze with Chidori is like something out of a fan fiction, but it is still awesome. Sasuke attacking from the air with Naruto jumping from the ground is yet another reference to the rooftop fight. The fact that this ended with the iconic clash is some of the best fan service Naruto has provided and creates for such an amazing conclusion. Both of them get knocked out and lose their arms, almost bleeding out to death. My grade for this fight is pretty mediocre. If we include anime scenes, phase 1 was epic and phase 4 was pretty good, but phase 2 and 3 were subpar. The best fights in Naruto don't have subpar phases, and when you take away the anime, the fight gets even worse. Let me take a second to compare this with the first Valley fight. In part 1, almost every phase had a clear winner. The winners went back and forth, with Sasuke winning, then Naruto winning. The reasons they won were also due to their transformations and boost in power. In part 2, no one wins any of the phases. Most phases start with Sasuke winning, but then end in a tie. Then there's the choreography. The anime definitely added a lot to the part 1 fight, because half the phases in the manga were only a few blows. So a lot of the iconic scenes in the fight are from the anime, but even if we compare manga to manga, part 1's fight is still better. It had better choreography and art than part 2. Scenes like Sasuke predicting Naruto's attacks or the slow motion clash of the first phase are amazing use of panels. Even the very short exchanges have engaging choreography. In part 2, phase 2 has most of the attacks as super close-ups, so there's no choreography there. In phase 3, a lot of Sasuke's attacks are also close-ups. Only Sasuke's first attack is shown in full, so there is also very little choreography. Only Phase 4 has choreography, but since the characters are already tired, there isn't much of it. Although it has more than Part 1's second, third, and fourth phases individually, there isn't enough to compete when you put the whole fight together. You might be wondering why I keep bringing up choreography, but this is because there are two ways that Naruto makes a good fight. One is having great choreography, like Akashi vs Obito, and two is having great strategy, like Sasuke vs Deidara. Naruto has mixed both before, like Naruto vs Pain or Sasuke vs Itachi, but for some reason, since the first Valley fight didn't have strategy, the second one didn't either, which is a shame. Instead, it relied on avatars swinging and blasting with no plan. Only Phase 4 had a semblance of strategy. The difference between the anime adaptations is that Part 1 went from a great fight to the best fight, while Part 2 went from a subpar fight to a decent one. In conclusion, use of avatars, lack of strategy or choreography, and the lack of phase winners are why this fight is subpar. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out my manga. All important links will be in the description.